players were back on board with the circuit here at Clara. Here's the race leaders. Oh, there are all sorts of problems.
Oh, big carnage. Oh, straight to the barriers. And through the smoke we come.
What a crack! Oh, crack!
Hi, and welcome to this week's Retro Motorsport. Let's open the show with drag racing. It's the 2009 Northern Nationals from Meremere.
Strap yourself in and hang on. This is NZDRA Drag Racing, the Century UASA Power Series, and round one of the summer season begins with the Fram Autolite Northern National. Here we are at Fram Autolite Raceway, race day of round one of the Century UASA Power Series. This is action day. Of course, the top division, the Group 1 cars, Castrol Edge Top Alcohol. Their great performance yesterday from John Nealing, running a 5.88 at 240 miles an hour. John Nealing doesn't have a number one on his car. Chris Johnson has the latest number one on his car. And Todd Vincent, well, they have 3 number ones on their car. So that's what he's up against. If we move into the top door slammer division, down on numbers a little bit this season, so again it is going to be tightly contested with the likes of Ross Taylor in the 57 Chevy, Bobby Owens in the Falcon Coupe, and Mike Woodaveen had a very good season last year in the Ferrari, made a couple of finals.
I don't really think that today we may not see the car with the most horsepower win this meeting. We're going to see a car that's got consistency. The likes of Woodaveen and Bobby Owens in the Falcon have got as equal chance as any of taking away top door slammer.
I think, Gavin, it'll be cloudy, but final day. So come on, Gavin, let's go racing. Important part of drag racing is the start line and track conditions. As you can see, the temperature 95 degrees Fahrenheit, a little bit below optimum. Ideally would be around about the 100 degrees, but still it is a good racetrack as we go into round one of Top Alcohol.
We've had a little bit of a build-up to the beginning of this season, which is fantastic because we don't normally get that. So it's starting to show now. First run off the trailer, 588, 240 mile an hour. You've got to look at the track. That's your biggest one. You've got to try and dial that in. If you can dial the track in appropriately, then you're going to go fast.
Round one of elimination sees Dave Gould, the bottom qualifier, up against this man, number one qualifier, the fastest man, John Nealing. He ran a 5.88 with a 6 yesterday. He's got horsepower. Dave Gould having trouble getting the car down the racetrack. John Nealing is going to set a good time, a 5.88, 240 miles an hour.
Yeah, no, second gear's pretty interesting. Yeah. It sort of pulls really, really hard in the middle of the track, and it's a whole lot of fun in the middle of the track.
The defending New Zealand number one, Chris Johnson, the man they all want to beat. He'll be feeling the pressure right now. Fresh new engine for the season, but he's just seen John Nealing set a record pace.
Our engines are based on a big block Chevrolet, and it's just got a 1471 high helix supercharger on it with methanol injection. At the end of the day, it's consistency that'll win you a championship like we won last year. We weren't the quickest, but it's consistency that gets you there, and that's what we're aiming for again this year.
Chris Johnson's opponent for round one of eliminations is Shane Lodge. He won this meeting last year. Has he got what it takes to beat Chris Johnson? No, he's got problems. Severe tyre shake on the start. You see the chutes drop out. He rattled those tyres very hard. An easy win for Chris Johnson, 6.15 at 223 miles an hour. And that's the end of the day for Shane Lodge and the team. Shane's opponent in last year's final was this man, Maurice McMillan.
We ended up running quickest of 6.73 at 211, so hopefully today we can get out there and back up a national record for it. We're starting to find a tune-up for it, so hopefully within the next couple of meetings we can really get into it and start doing some numbers.
Maurice's opponent for round one of eliminations is Todd Vincent. Last season he was one win away from being New Zealand's youngest top alcohol champion when he destroyed that engine.
There's quite a few changes to the car. There's a bigger blower, more powerful blower. A new fuel and ignition system as well. It's still a little bit unknown to us, this combination, so we're just going to try and go out there. We've got our fingers crossed. We think it's going to work, so we're going to hold our fingers crossed and hope it runs a low 6 and gets us the round win.
The 3 number ones on the side of that car are Dad's Mark Vincent. It is now time for Todd Vincent to earn his first number one. He gets a good start, and it is side by side Maurice McMillan and Todd Vincent at half track. There is nothing in it. And now the boost from that new engine coming in for Todd Vincent, and he will take the win. It is a PB for Morris McMillan with a 6.6. But the win, 6.33, 2.15 for Todd Vincent. Round one of eliminations in Top Door Slammer. As the name would suggest, they are full-body cars, loosely recognisable, purpose-built race cars, but they do have opening and closing doors. Defending New Zealand #1 Ross Taylor is looking to continue his winning success from last season. A good solid burnout from the 57 Chevy, and he's backing it up into their start line, but that is a problem for Ross Taylor. That is oil on the track. That oil is coming out of his race car. He will shut it down and he will be looking where it's coming from. It's a cruel sport, drag racing. All that preparation for 6 seconds is over for Ross.
Yeah, it's a bit psyched, but just take it as comes, another day.
A final pairing in round one of Top Door Slammer sees Bobby Owens in the XM Falcon up against Team Squig in an XP Falcon coupe.
Yeah, a lot of it's luck. The cars are not bulletproof and you're leaning on them so hard. Anything can go wrong, anything.
Even horsepower from both cars, so expect an exciting side-by-side drag race. The final pairing in Top Door Slammer, round number one. Bobby Owens inching into the start line. He gets a much better start than Team Squig, who is just having trouble getting the race car down the track. And again, he's moving to the side of the track, but Bobby Owens has no problems getting it there. He's into the semi-finals with a lot of work to do once he gets past that finish line. And a winning time for Bobby Owens, 7.72 at 183 miles an hour. By qualifying number one, Mike Woodavine earns the bye in round number one, and he takes the Ferrari Boxer into the semis with this pass. And he will meet the father and son team of Dave and Chad Tully, who also got a bye run when we saw Ross Taylor have to pull out. Semi-final and final action in Top Door Slammer and Top Alcohol still to come, so let's move into BHT Super Sedan.
I'm the current champion. It's down to the driver, whoever wins. It's a dial-your-own class, so the car's going to perform pretty much the same every time, but it's down to the driver who can actually pick the best ET for their vehicle.
Early round wins sees this pairing, John McGinty up against Mark Hudson in a very, very tight semi-final. John McGinty, he won the number one last season in the final round of the National Series. Mark Hudson will keep him very honest. He's a very consistent DYO racer, and that's what you need to be to win in Super Sedan. As you can see from the shots, it is very, very close all the way down the racetrack. Side by side, in fact, at the finish line, but Mark Hudson has lost the race by breaking out. John McGinty gets the win. If your elapsed time, or ET, is lower than your dial-in time, you break out and lose. Meeting John McGinty in the final of Super Sedan will be the winner of this pairing. In dial-your-own racing, the racer nominates the time they expect their vehicle to do. There will be a handicap on the start line tree of 1.8 seconds between this pair, so it looks like James Hone is napping on the light, but he is the quicker car and he will catch Stephen Howe at the finish line if he is to win the race. Very tight at the stripe. James Hone is not going to catch Stephen Howe. He will go into the final with an 11.16 on a 10.99 dial-in. BHT Super Sedan final sees John McGinty in the F100 pickup against the Tirana of Stephen Howe. Stephen Howe has been a little bit off the pace, but he's done enough to win all the rounds and get into this final. John McGinty, he is very much on the money. He will run a quicker time, so he will be chasing Stephen Howe. You will see a handicap start. And that is the margin that John McGinty has to catch up. He has bigger horsepower, and that is the compensation of DYO racing. He drives right around Stephen Howe and is first to the finish line and puts the F100 in the winner's circle with a winning time of 9.81. John McGinty is a VHT Super Sedan champion at the Fram Autolite Northern Nationals. The competition bracket is made up of dragsters and alters, finishing last season as Australasia's quickest normally aspirated small block Ford dragster. But problems for Anthony Marsh and the team. They cannot get the Marsh Motorsport dragster turning over. Robbie Ward into the semi-finals. The engine that he ran in the 280Z Datsun last year in a dragster.
We decided to build something that was more purpose-built, that would be hopefully faster and definitely safer. It looks like once we can get a full run in without having to back off or something happening, it should run into the 7s, not about 17 to 20 pounds a boost, I'd say.
First full meeting in competition for Robbie Ward and the team in the front engine dragster, and this semi-final up against Ian Boyd in an alternative combination, a 202 Holden in his altered. But the turbo's kicking in for Robbie Ward, and he makes it look very easy with a 921, and we've got a lot more to see out of that car yet. Contrast in experience on the start line for this competition eliminator final. Robbie Ward in his first season with his front engine dragster up against Trevor Watson, who has won a lot of drag races here at Fram Autolite. And problems in lane 2 for Robbie Ward. You can see it's just rolling forward. So the consistent Trevor Watson supercharged 2-litre Peugeot in that dragster runs another 9 and gives another win for Trevor Watson with a 9.70, 143 miles an hour. Sport Compact is made up of Japanese import body styles. 2 body styles within the bracket. The Pro Import car, such as this Corey Abbott, a purpose-built race car tube frame, and a more street-style car, Dean Hargraves, which is Sport Modified. Sport Modified, on the other hand, has to retain the original body and chassis. A wild ride for these cars. They are really tapped out short wheelbase.
Me and my brother, we own this car together. We both raced street cars before this. And we decided to step it up a bit, so we'll be building this with the help of Terry's Chassis Shop. 13B, twin rotor turbo, running on alcohol, and a clutchless transmission, 5-speed transmission.
Here is our Sport Compact final. Corey Abbott in the RX-7, Mazim Shalash in the RX-323. Now the Index has a handicap start. A problem on the start line, and that stumble is going to cost Mazim. And you just see Corey Abbott, he's aiming for a 760 record. He runs nearly there, 788. He's got the win, and he's almost on the record. Look at that, 788, 166 mile an hour. His record, you see there, is a 764.
Super gas is a heads-up start. So, like, you're not waiting for somebody to, get halfway down the track before you do it. You start the same time as the guy next to you. So by the time you pulled second gear and you've the G-forces are off your body, you get to have a wee look around to see how you are against your component. You don't get to do that with DIO.
Paul Hammond's semi-final was up against a big block Chevy-powered HC Viva of Todd Carter. But it is all Paul Hammond, making it look oh so easy. A bad start for Todd, and you can see Paul Hammond could button off at the finish line and still take victory. In his final, he had problems, however, and you see the winner of the National Series from the 2006-2007 season, Linda Zarodny. But Paul Hammond getting pushed off the start line, and that is oil on the start line, and something has broken in the Chrysler Dart. So a single pass for the 2006-2007 National Champion, Linda Zarodny, gets maximum points at the Fram Autolite Northern Nationals. When we come back, it is top door slammer, top alcohol, and top street action at the Century Yuasa Power Series at the Fram Autolite Northern Nationals. Welcome back to the Century Yuasa Power Series of drag racing.
Big block Ford, 510.
Go well.
Only Ford in the country.
This is what the crowd have come to see. Top door slammer, and despite being eliminated in an earlier race, Team Squig are taking the opportunity to get an exhibition pass on the track, and problem, you can see the wind gets under the bonnet and the Air Force just destroy that carbon fibre bonnet. Boom, and there it goes.
1972 Ferrari Boxer here, blowing alcohol, big block Chev, 3-speed Linko. Basically the taillights. Yeah. It's really about the only thing genuine about the whole car is the taillights.
Semi-final action in top door slammer, and we see problems for the Dave and Chad Tully team, and they're having trouble getting the Falcon started. Now Mike Witteveen is in lane 2 in the Ferrari. He had a good season and made some final appearances last season. He's going to make another one with this beautiful pass. Another 7, a 7 with a 7. Mike Witteveen is into another final at 175 miles an hour. Mike's opponent in the final is going to be this man, Mr. Consistency, Bobby Owens, who has a single pass to take his place in the final. So let's go to that final of door slammer. And problems in the Ferrari pit. Again, lane 1 is having trouble getting a car on the racetrack. Bobby Owens has a single pass to win the points in round 1, the Fram Autolite Northern Nationals. and he is going to push the car hard, and you can see him jumping around the track. He is not taking it easy. They used to be known as Wild Bunch cars, and that is why a win for Bobby Owens, and as he goes through the finish line, knocking it out of gear and slowing it down, an 8-1, but a win is a win, Bobby.
A bit of a hairy run there.
We looked a bit over the track, mate.
Yeah, I might have to take a bit of clutch out of the thing. Yeah, no, very happy with the day. The car's running perfect. It's me that's getting the things a little bit wrong, but we'll get there.
Fastest car doesn't always win.
Have a bit of luck. Yeah. Luck and change parts.
Finals time in Fast Parts Super Street, and we see the difference in body style. Super Street is another dial-your-own bracket where the racer nominates the time they expect their vehicle to do. The handicap is compensating for the differences in horsepower. Now we see Scott Campbell in the Ford Bronco. It is something he drives to work every day. But you can go drag racing in whatever you drive. And Scott Campbell has a dial-in time of 18.1. Now Darryl Robertson, much more horsepower. You probably wouldn't drive this to the dairy, but he is chasing Scott Campbell with a quicker dial-in time of 13.0. Century Batteries Modified is another dial-your-own class. This is the dial-your-own bracket for the competition style of race cars. This pairing sees Scotty Lansborough in the rear-engine dragster up against Ian Metz, Fiat Topolino-bodied Alfa. As with all dial-your-own racing, it's about the driver getting it right and getting it consistent. We see a very close race between Ian Metz and Scotty Lansborough, and down to the finish line stripe, Ian Metz crosses the line first, and he will take the win with an 8.95 at 144 miles an hour. This is how the race cars used to look. This frame was built in 1965 when the engine was in front of the driver. And you can see that number 1 on the side of the car shows that it is still competitive in the brackets of racing today. Paul Sattler is the pilot in the front engine dragster known as the Vindicator. His opponent in the semi-final, the T-Bucket of Brian Hayes. The difference in dial and times will see a big handicap, and Brian Hayes' T-Bucket will be away first. Now you see the Vindicator doing the chasing. And problems for Brian Hayes. His race is over. Paul Sattler just drives right on by, and he will take another win in the front engine dragster. You can see the smoke and oil from Brian Hayes. That Pontiac engine has gone.
It's a buzz and it's a thrill driving the car. Like this, I enjoy driving the car, and it gives you a really good ride. The car was built in 1965 in California, and all I've done is restored the car back to its former glory, how it was run in California, and I've upgraded it to fit in today's regulations, but primarily what you see is how it was run in 1965.
It's a 427 Chev and a 1948 Topolino. It's called an Altered, so yes, basically just a short rail with a motor in it. There's a place for everybody here. If you're a millionaire, you can go across the other side and race top door slammer, or you can be over here with the peasants.
Century Batteries Modified Final. Ian Metz in the Topolino, Paul Sattler in the front engine dragster. Now that breathing apparatus he is wearing, not only does it look period perfect, it is practical. It is a fireproof breathing apparatus. First car away in this final will be Ian Metz in the Altered. Now Paul Sattler is doing the chasing. He will be trying to drag him down. It'll be very close at the finish line if they're on the money, and it is very close. Paul Sattler by the slimmest of margins. Have a look at this. Paul Sattler, Century Batteries Modified Champion. UASA Modified Bike Finals time, and we see both on Suzuki Hayabusas, Bill Hamilton and Dean Veal. Bill Hamilton closest to camera. No traction problems there for Bill Hamilton as he lifts the front wheel, but the opposite for Dean Veal. You can see the smoke. He was just spinning that rear wheel, and it's cost him dearly. It has cost him a lot of time. Bill Hamilton, UASA Modified Bike Champion, takes the win with a 10.79 at 134 miles an hour. Again, wheels up for Bill Hamilton. Top street cars are full-bodied street cars that are allowed serious chassis mods and engine setback modification.
She's a 70 Plymouth Duster with a 505 Keith Black with B1 Pro Stock heads. We're pulling about 1,000 horsepower, running an 832 at the quickest at the moment at 160 mile an hour. Mate, it's awesome. I wouldn't go as far as saying better than 6, but it comes bloody close. Yeah, when you stick the car in first gear and apply the trans brake, and you've got a preset in the MSD ignition, whatever revs you want to leave at. So I got mine set at 5.6. I stand on the throttle hard and leave on the button.
Sam's qualifying position has given him a bye in the semi-final, and as you can see, he's pushing the Duster as hard as ever and lifting that wheel on the start line, and he will go into that final with a solid pass of an 8:42. Well, have a look at that. Our second semi-final is those two. Friends off the track, but now they are suited up and strapped into their race cars. One of them is sending the other one home on a trailer. Wayne Grimmer is in the Plymouth Barracuda. Roger Binnemer, the defending New Zealand #1, is in that supercharged, Chevy-powered Honda. A big race to start this season because points are on the line, and it is a great wheels-up start for Wayne Grimmer. But Roger Binnemer, you can see he has just stepped off it. He's given the race up because he left early. Red light foul gives Wayne Grimmer a win. But have a look at the ET Wayne Grimmer, 8:27, 1:69.
Love the excitement, the adrenaline. It's just an addictive sport. But the car's running really well now. We're back onto our 8:29 of our first pass off the trailer yesterday, so we're really happy. I think we're #1 qualifier. It's a 1968 Barracuda, but it runs a Ray Barton built from USA 604 cubic inch Hemi. It's putting out 1130 horsepower, normally aspirated. It goes through a 5-speed Liberty manual transmission. We've experimented with this car with the wheels up, wheels down. In actual fact, it's 60 foot faster with the wheels up. So this car just obviously likes the way it reacts, just likes it that way, so we're going to keep it that way. It's still fun. It's funny we don't have a couple of cars in the class, but they'll be here next round. But it's still a buzz, and I still love coming back.
The old foe meet in yet another final. It is Wayne Grimmer in the Plymouth Barracuda and Sam Levine in the Duster. Now, both of these races have raced a number of years. They've raced in all forms of race car. Both campaigned Altereds a few years ago, so they know how to go fast. They're very good drivers. Current record holder Wayne Grimmer is looking to try and get the edge on his old mate, Sam Levine. However, we've just seen Sam Levine wheels up start in his semi-final. He's not going to make it easy for Wayne Grimmer. Where's your money? Too tight to call. Wheels up from both of them. A better start from Sam Levine. He got the jump on Wayne Grimmer. Now has Wayne Grimmer got horsepower to drive around him? If he can run better than an 8:35, he'll get a record. We see the door blow off the side of Sam Levine's car. Again, we see air pressure. Just take the door right off it. But Wayne Grimmer, have a look at that. 8:31. New national record for an A-top street car. Doors off. Wheels up. It is all action in the top street final. Wayne Grimmer takes the points. Castrol Edge Top Alcohol semi-final action, and first on the track is a bye run for the #1 qualifier, the fastest man in the country at the moment, John Nealon in the Digger Dragster. It is a single pass, but you will notice the crew go about their procedure in exactly the same way as if there was a race car alongside them. John Nealon has run 580s all weekend. He has gone fractionally quicker each time, and he does it again, even quicker, a 584 in the semi-final. And look at that mile an hour, 242 miles an hour. Plenty of pressure in the second Castrol Edge Top Alcohol semi-final. They have to get into the final. They have just seen John Nealon set the pace. But first, they've got to beat the guy in the lane alongside them. And those racers with the job to do at the moment is Todd Vincent in the Vincent family dragster and Chris Johnson in the Harcourt's Vernon and Vasey dragster. First of all, they must win their semi-final. They'll be looking at the data they get from this race to see if they can beat John Nealon in the final. Who's it going to be? Chris Johnson or Todd Vincent? It is tight off the line. Chris Johnson with the jump. Chris Johnson has the horsepower. Chris Johnson all the way and into the final of Castrol Edge Top Alcohol. Chris Johnson doing all the right things, chipping away at his ET 608 at 225 miles an hour. Has he got the tune-up to win the final? Let's have a look. Castrol Edge Top Alcohol is the premier division in New Zealand drag racing. It is all about horsepower. It is all about speed. No handicaps, no breakouts. Fastest car wins. First one to the finish line is the champion. You can see the drivers, full concentration on their face as they go about their start line burnout procedures. They know the team has got the best tune-up that they think is going to win this meeting. They can't do anything about it now. They can't change it. They have to focus on their job to do. And here we go as the cars are inching into stage. The very important start their way, an equal start reaction time, nothing between them. But it is the horsepower of the digger dragster. John Nealon storms away with a new national record. John Nealon, 5.76 seconds, 242 mile an hour.
No, that was a pretty good pass. Good end to a good day. I haven't even seen the time slip yet, but the way everybody's reacting, I've seen something, but I'll figure it out later on. We're happy today. Brilliant day.
That completes racing today here at Fram Autolite Dragway, round one of the Century UASA Power Series. Congratulations to all the winners, but clearly the highlight had to be John Nealon. Round two is the Cumul Hot Rod and Classic Car Festival meeting at Taupo International Raceway on January 4th. This has been NZDRA Drag Racing and the Century UASA Power Series.
New Zealand proudly has had world champions in motocross. And when you look back to this show from the 2009 National Motocross Champs in Rotorua and the talent that's on display, you can see why we are so good at motocross.
The Demon Energy National Motocross Championship kicked into life last weekend with round one of the four hosted by the Rotorua Motorcycle Club. The weekend saw many of New Zealand's top riders under new tents and in new classes. Some of the notable changes included 2007 500cc champion Suzuki's Daryl Hurley, downsizing his bike to the MX2 class and a 250. 2007 250cc champion Michael Phillips shifted from Kawasaki to the Honda tent, which is under new management in the form of ex-world champion Shane King. Another new addition to the Honda team is the currently injured ex-Suzuki rider Luke Burkhardt, who is hoping to be back on the bike for round 3 in Timaru. Another pivotal change to the Demon Energy Nationals is to the race program on the day. Gone are the 3 heats per class of last season, replaced by 2 longer 25 minutes plus 1 lap duration races to test the rider's fitness in the MX1, MX2 and 125 class. There's no shortage in talent in the MX1 class, and it looks like it'll be a 5-way battle to the top spot of the podium at each round. With the 2007 champion Daryl Hurley stepping into the MX2 class, it leaves the likes of last year's runner-up Peter Broxholm, 125 champion Damon King, Hayden Mackay, Daryl King and Nick Saunders to battle it out. It was Honda's Broxholm that took first honours by qualifying fastest, but only by just over half a second to Yamaha's Daryl King. Scott Collum, back from racing the Motocross of Nations for New Zealand and a full season of World Championship Grand Prix for his Belgium Suzuki team, qualified third.
Hurley won last year, and it's up to me to win the MX1 this year, and hopefully Hurley will win the MX2. And yeah, to get a title, to make my father happy and me happy is also. I've had a couple of Supercross titles, but not a motocross, and yeah, it's also good preparation for next year. There's DK, Damien. There's Broxholm as well. It's been a while. It's been 3 years since we raced the New Zealand Nationals, and yeah, there's a few people that I don't know about, but I'm not thinking about them. I'm just focused on what I got to do and hopefully just get out front and go.
Got into a pretty good groove and felt pretty neat, pretty good. The track got quite holy and rough, but it was still, you know, I sort of got my head around it okay. The first practice out here wasn't as good, so hopefully I can pick it up and just get back into that nice groove.
I was hoping for like a top 5 to 7th qualifying position. I got 10th, so not too bad. Still a decent gate pick. So, but hey, 1 lap's different to 25 minutes, so we'll see how that goes.
By being the top qualifier, Honda's Broxholm got the first pick of the starting gates, and he must have picked well because when the gate fell, he not only grabbed the whole shot, but led easily and took a convincing win. Behind him, a titanic battle raged between both Subway Yamaha-mounted King brothers, Scott Collum Suzuki, and the Kawasaki of Nick Saunders, riding with a fractured wrist. After the 25 minutes and 1 lap, Broxholm was well clear in first, with the younger of the King brothers, Damien, taking the runner-up spot just in front of Queenstown Scott Collum in third. Daryl King was fourth, with Nick Saunders hanging on literally for 5th. Well, this is the second and final round of the MX1 racing, and can Peter Broxholm do it again? He whole shot race 1 and got away, and he's done it again, and Hayden Mackay's gone with him, so it'll be Honda 1 and 2 as they sort themselves out, but it's Broxy out in the front. Scott Collum on the Suzuki has moved through into second place. Then I think you'd go back to Hayden Mackay, and then it would be the Kings, Damien and Daryl. Out over the back of the track here at Rotorua for the Demon Energy New Zealand Motocross Champs, round 1, and it is Peter Broxholm in the front on the Honda Racing Alpine Stars CRF 450. Right in behind him, Scott Collum. Look how busy it is further back through the pack. Everyone fighting for position in the first lap of this 25-minute plus 1 lap race. Broxholm in the front. Scott Collum, recently back from Europe, sits in second place on the New Zealand Suzuki RMZ 450. But it's this man. He ran away and hid in race number 1, and it looks like he's going to try and do the same thing in race 2 as he approaches the Demon Energy jump for the first time. Collum through in second place. Christchurch's Hayden Mackay in third. Then it's Daryl King. Then it looked to be Nick Saunders. Might have been Ben Thomason on the Kawasaki. We'll check that for you. No, there's Thomason there, number 202. So it was Nick Saunders up there in the front-running position. Finished 4th in the 500cc title chase last year. Peter Broxholm, of course, finished 2nd. No Daryl Hurley. So whatever happens, we'll be crowning a new champion after the 4 rounds of the Demon Energy Motocross Champs. Will it be this man? Tauronga's Peter Broxholm. It's a lot of input from new Honda Racing manager Shane King. A little bit untied as he comes up to complete the first lap. Collum through in second place. Hayden Mackay running 2 classes, as is Damien King and Daryl King. There is Nick Saunders and 89 Blake Gillard. Well, it's a great start for Blake Gillard. Really, he'll be looking just to keep it on 2 wheels. He's had a terrible 2 seasons with injury. Oh, and Broxholm's made a mistake, and that means that Scott Collum's going to go around the outside of him and take the lead. And can he get the bike started? There goes King and Mackay as well. In fact, both the Kings go past. So Broxholm resumes in around about 5th place. We've got a new race leader. It's New Zealand Supercross champion Scott Collum. Recently back from Europe, where he rides for a Belgium Suzuki team in the World MX1 Motocross Grand Prix. Had a good season this year, represented New Zealand at the Motocross of Nations. Great to see him back here in New Zealand and competing outdoors. Queenstown, Scott Collum in the front, but Peter Broxholm, well, he'll be absolutely kicking himself. He just stalled the machine, got caught in a rut, and now he's got to fight back. Number 971 there is Dave Hay on the Suzuki, and at the moment he's fighting, I think, with Scott Dibbins down round about for 13th or 14th spot. Here's the race leader up and over the Demon Energy double jump. This is the new part of the circuit here at Rotorua. Dennis and Michael Phillips designing this motor race track. There is Hayden Mackay right in behind him. There was Damien King, so Daryl King's moved up into second place, I think, now, but Collum leads it. Heading down to complete the second lap. Oh, and he's got a bit untidy going over the finish line jump, and he's put it on the deck. Well, we saw Broxholm make a mistake, and now Scott Collum has made a mistake as well, and I think that's damaged the Suzuki. Oh, yeah, the handlebar's not looking too straight at all. There is the super sub. That's Barry Morris from Scotland via Upper Hutt on the 3rd of the Red Riders Honda Racing Team bikes. 31, the veteran. This is Daryl King. Now, he's stated to us that he won't be doing all the rounds, and he'll be doing all he can to help his younger brother Damien win the title. But at the moment, he is in the box seat. Ben Thomason, number 202, on the Kawasaki New Zealand 450, the new injected 450 for Kawasaki this year. This is number 31. This is Daryl King. Set out last season with injuries. Everyone thought he'd retired, but once the injuries were good again, he's back into the racing, and he's put Hayden Mackay behind him. There is Mackay from Christchurch, finished 6th in the 125 title chase last year, and he's got all he can handle from 89 Blake Gillard. This is Barry Morris. Now he's riding for the injured Luke Burkhardt on the Honda Racing team. But this man has inherited the front running. Daryl King, he's been a champion in New Zealand motocross and worldwide since he was 15 years of age. Now he's knocking on the door of 40, so that's a 25-year career at the top. Broxholm through in second place. Now, can he get up and match the veteran King for the pace? In race number 1, he got the whole shot and disappeared. Hasn't been that way so far in this one. Made a mistake, got the whole shot, did everything right, but then stalled it in the rut. Now he's back in second place. Ageless Daryl King on his team Subway Yamaha YZ450 leads it. Heading out over the back. Serpentine section runs up and down a couple of hillsides here at Rotorua. Here is Peter Broxholm still holding on to second place. So a bit of drama in the early stages of race 2, the second and final MX1 race. 922 Natia's Luke Temple sitting in about 13th place at the moment on the Yamaha New Zealand YZ450. Didn't get the very best of starts. Here is Scott Collum. Now have a look at the Suzuki. It looks a little bit twisted in the front end to me, and that's why he was just dropping down through the field like a stone at the moment. Now he's in danger of not scoring any points here, and that will absolutely hamper his championship campaign because he got a good third place in race number 1. 89 Blake Gillard. Well, I said it before, he can stay injury free. He'll be a threat in these title chases, but he hasn't been able to do that for the last 2 years, virtually since he came back from Europe. He raced up in the Junior Cup up in Germany for KTM, now on the Cycle Spot Honda. This man, well, he manages Team Subway. He rides Team Subway. He's a mentor for so many young riders in New Zealand, been heavily involved in the training program for the upcoming Junior World Championships to be held in Taupo. This is Jaden Jessup, currently sitting in 7th place, and he's chasing Blake Gillard at the moment. Jaden having his second full season in the senior ranks, having a very good junior career. Luke Temple again. You can see Luke Temple makes that 450 Yamaha look like an 80cc junior bike because he is one big lump of a man. He's around about 6'4", 6'5", I would think. This is Nick Saunders on the Location Homes Red Baron Motorcycles KX 450. Now Nick is riding with the handicap of a broken wrist. He had a huge build-up to the New Zealand Motocross Champs. He was out trail riding with some friends just a couple of weeks ago, fell and broke his wrist. The doctors said it won't get any worse, so he has decided to race. Well, this man knows all about injuries. Daryl King really has thwarted his career, certainly in the last few years anyway, but he tells me he's injury-free and fighting fit, and that's one thing you never have to worry about with the Kings is their fitness. So Daryl King, the race leader. Here is Saunders. Now he's currently sitting in around about 4th place. Here's Hayden Mackay just in front of him. He'd be 3rd. Peter Broxholm 2nd. Saunders up and over the Demon Energy double jump, this new part of the circuit here at Rotorua. This man is in complete control. Heading down towards the flag position, and he's going to lap Scott Collum. That was Collum just in front of him, and as I said, Collum having real trouble with his Suzuki. Looks very badly twisted at the front of it. Roger Boyle's there, also a lap down on the Waikato Yamaha. Daryl King is putting on a class here on his Subway Yamaha, which is what he does, of course, through his DK.com training schools. But interesting to see what he does here, because he'll be thinking in the back of his mind that he wants his younger brother Damien, riding for the same team, of course, riding for Subway Yamaha. He'll want him to be up there with him. There is Damien King, another one riding 2 classes. 97 Roger Boyles just gets out of the way for Hayden Mackay. Hayden Mackay, as I said, riding 2 classes, finished 6th in the 125 title chase last year. Been riding the 125s here as well at Rotorua. And, well, fitness is certainly going to be tested. 909, the wrist of Nick Saunders is going to be tested because he is certainly asking no quarter as he flies over the Demon Energy jump. So he's got past Hayden Mackay. So maybe Mackay starting to drop back. Maybe the strain of riding the 2 classes just starting to show a little bit here. Mackay Motor Bodies is one of Hayden's sponsors. Rode Yamahas last year in the 125 class, but has gone on to do big things since he got on the big Honda. Another one of the Kawasaki runners to look out for there is Ben Thomason. Now, fitness shouldn't be a problem for Ben because he won the recent Hawke's Bay 6-hour race on the 450 Kawasaki. Now this is Damien King, and this is his brother Daryl. In the slower section of the track here at Rotorua, Daryl King in command. And he could probably afford to cruise a little bit here, but he's probably not going to do that. Peter Broxholm's just far enough away that it's probably not worrying Daryl King at the moment. But it'll be certainly worrying Peter Broxholm because he won the first race, and I'm sure he'd love to score just as many points as possible here. Blake Gillard goes through. Young man from Beachlands in Auckland on his Honda, sponsored by Cycle Spot. There is Thomason on the Kawasaki. And he's currently sitting in 7th place. He's chasing Blake Gillard at the moment. This is Davey Hay from the South Island on his RMZ 450, and he's having some problems. Oh, he's having more problems here. He just stalls the machine in one of the big ruts that form in this volcanic soil here in Rotorua. Well, I was going to say it's not bothering this bloke, but perhaps it is, because Peter Broxholm is now starting to shut down Daryl King. So maybe Broxholm has got over his early problems, now got his head back into the game and racing hard. So too Nick Saunders, one of the lap riders, just getting out of the way, doing the sensible thing. And of course this year the races are longer and it's pretty hot here in Rotorua, so 25 minutes plus 1 lap. It's a real physical beating for the riders. As we mentioned before, Nick Saunders riding with a broken wrist. 86, Lee McKinstry on the KTM, right in behind him, number 911, Simon Dibbins on the Honda. They're battling just outside the top 10 at the moment. Hayden Mackay just holding station. This is the battle for 4th and 5th at the moment. Saunders is putting a bit of distance between himself and Mackay now. So he's in 4th, Mackay back in 5th. Then it would be Blake Gillard on yet another Honda. There he is there, so he's in this race as well as he comes down off the drop-off and heading down towards the Demon Energy finish line. Another one of the many New Zealand riders that had a lot of experience overseas, both in Australia and in Europe. I'll say the same thing about this man, Damien King, last year's 125 champion, second in the 250 class last year, riding 2 classes again, defending his 125 title, and this time stepping up and riding an MX1, the big 450cc machines. But to do that, he's going to have to beat his older brother, a man he's looked up to all his life, and that is Daryl King. No Shane King riding this season, of course. He's now the manager of Honda Red Riders. He's retired. This man doesn't know the meaning of the word retired. Had a good build-up to this year's Demon Energy New Zealand Motocross Champs. That rider just will move out of the way here for Damien now in 2nd place. So somewhere over the back of the course, Damien King has passed Peter Broxholm. Now, I'm not sure if Broxholm made a mistake or Damien's just been chipping away at him and finally put the pressure on and made the pass stick. So now we've got a Team Subway Yamaha 1-2 here in the closing stages of MX1 race number 2, the 2nd and final race. They changed the system a little bit this year at the Demon Energy New Zealand Motocross Champs. Instead of 3 races through the day, there's only 2, but they're longer, so it is physically harder. Fitness comes into it. There's never a question mark about the fitness of the Kings. Their fitness is probably one of the best of any in the field. So once again, the lap rider's just getting out of the way of Daryl King as he heads towards the Demon Energy turn and up into the finish line. Now he's having a look behind him now. I wouldn't be surprised if he's looking to see just where his brother is. Well, there's Peter Broxholm, and Broxholm's now back in 3rd place. Now 3rd won't be good enough for Broxholm if he wants to win the overall. Damien King finished 2nd to Peter Broxholm in race number 1. He's currently 2nd here. Broxholm won the first race. He is currently 3rd. And if the racing was to stop now, Peter Broxholm would have the overall and the points lead, because a 1 and a 3 beats a 2-2, because you get 25 points for 1st, you get 22 for 2nd, you get 20 for 3rd. There is Damien King. He needs to get up and challenge his brother here. Now, I've said it in commentary before, Daryl King has stated publicly that he is here to help his brother. Another one of the lap riders just going through. It's Rowan Inkpin by the look of it on the Honda. Peter Broxholm just about to dispose of Dibbins, put him a lap down. Dibbins does the sensible thing and moves off the racing line. Now this is interesting. Daryl King, I think he's chopped the throttle. He's allowed Damien King to come through for the win, and that means on the points situation, Damien King will beat this man for the overall and go to the 2nd round in Hawke's Bay with the lead. So Damien King takes the win fortuitously from his brother. Peter Broxholm was 3rd, Nick Saunders on the Kawasaki is 4th, and in 5th place it's Hayden Mackay. So points after the day sees Damien King on top, Peter Broxholm 2nd, and Daryl King 3rd.
It's a bit of a dream for me. It's all really, really awesome. I think my Team Subway Yamaha, Darren and I have been doing a lot of work the last 3 months, training, riding together, and it's obviously worked. It's paid off, so really, really happy.
with myself, it was kind of a bit too relaxed, I think, and so stalled it, and then after that it was just too high intensity and high heart rate without actually keeping it going nicely. So you live and you learn the hard way sometimes, but that's the way it goes.
You're watching the Demon Energy New Zealand Motocross Champs Round 1 coming to you from Rotorua. Coming up, it's the MX2 class. Lots of changes in the off-season. The biggest one, though, Kawasaki last year. This year, he's on a Honda. Michael Phillips, it's his home track. He's carrying the #1 plate. I wonder if he's feeling any pressure. Fastest qualifier for the Patterson O'Connor Motorcycles MX2 250 class was KTM's Mason Phillips, beating the Yamaha of Hamish Dobbin by just 0.238 of a second. In the first moto, having only managed to qualify 6th fastest, defending 250 champion Michael Phillips grabbed the whole shot on his Honda and never looked back. Daryl Hurley, the defending 500cc champion, had got a bad start but worked his way up to give Suzuki its first podium of the day in 2nd place, whilst in 3rd it was the ageless Daryl King, back on top form and injury-free, who took his Subway Yamaha to 3rd. With the MX2 class open to both 2- and 4-stroke machinery, of the top riders, only Daryl King had opted for the 2-stroke machine. 4th place went to top qualifier Mason Phillips on his KTM. In a race that claimed a few, possibly the unluckiest rider was Christchurch's Justin McDonald on the Red Riders Honda team. A stray rock in the morning's practice meant a fat lip and a sore mouth for the Cantab that got much worse when he crashed heavily in race 1 to not only re-injure his already sore face, but the crash meant a 25th place finish and no points. Not the start he or Honda wanted to their championship campaigns. Well, second time lucky for the MX2 race true here at Rotorua, round 1 of the Demon Energy New Zealand Motocross Championships, and it looks like it will be Justin McDonald going into the first turn in first place. Well, that will make up for the disaster he had in race #1. We got a couple on the deck. Looks like Lane Curtis and also Travis Russell, both Suzuki riders, have gone down. Meantime, out in the front as they head towards the back part of the circuit here at Rotorua, it is, well, it's not, it's #4 now, and that is Jared Guthrie from Nelson on the Honda in the front. McDonald through in 2nd place. There are the first two. Looks like young Hamish Dobbin in 3rd, and a good scrap going on for the miners. Daryl Hurley looking to get around the outside of Hamish Stone by the look of it on the Kawasaki there to move up. Hurley will want to get up and see if he can't challenge this man. This is Jared Guthrie on the Honda from Nelson. Sports Pro sponsored 250cc Honda. This is the MX2 class, of course. And what a difference a race makes, because Justin McDonald had an absolute shocker in race #1, banged his head on the handlebars and split the top lip and also damaged his jaw, but now he's come back, and he's come back pretty strong. Sitting in 2nd place now as they line up the Demon Energy jump for the first time. There is young Hamish Dobbin, just 17 years of age. Daryl Hurley goes through as well. Now, the big question we got to ask ourselves is, where is Michael Phillips? He won the first race on a whole shot and was never headed, but he hasn't got the best of the starts here. There is Hamish Stone, Jesse Wickie in there as well on the Kawasaki. Oh, some problems here. And that is the Australian, and that is Ross Beaton. Now, he's one of the next big things in Australia, so all the press tell us. Riding Yamahas here in New Zealand, and another problem. Well, that sometimes happens when the riders aren't up to full pace. He just rolled over the Demon Energy double jump and just didn't quite have the concentration. Guthrie continues to lead it. McDonald 2nd, Dobbin 3rd, and Daryl Hurley now up into 4th place as they come through to complete the lap. So Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, the order. Good race here from Daryl Hurley. Talking to him before the event, he wasn't sure if he was going to do the National Championships this year. He's had a very busy season. He's damaged a knee, but he's also just bought a Suzuki dealership, so he's been very busy indeed. Is Daryl Hurley, the defending 500cc champion. He's moved down to the MX2 class, a bike that he's very familiar with. Had a huge duel with Cody Cooper a couple of years ago in what was then the 125 class. There is Jesse Wickie. There is Daryl King. First time we've seen the veteran here in the 250. Remember, he's riding 2 classes today, beyond the 450 as well. But this is young Jared Guthrie. Now, Jared is the son of a famous father in Peter. Hamish Stone, Mr. Motorcycle sponsored rider out of Huntly these days. Now, he's currently sitting in around about 7th or 8th position. Early days in the moto. Here's the man in 2nd place. This is Justin McDonald on the Team Honda Alpine Stars CR 250. Up ahead of him, it's still #4, This is the action in the back of the pack and what action there is, and all problems there for number 232, Ben Rutten from Waikanai on the Suzuki. Thought he was going to dive to the inside of that downed Honda rider, couldn't do it, and now they've both come together. Here is the race leader lining up the Demon Energy double jump once again here at Rotorua, round 1 of the Demon Energy National Championship, and McDonald starting to get a little bit closer now. Jesse Wickie through. He's just outside the top 5, so it's a good ride for Jesse Wickie. This is the battle at the front of the field, though, coming down to complete another lap here. Jared Guthrie, as I mentioned, Peter Guthrie, his father, national champion in the 70s and, should I say, the 80s and early 90s. Raced with the likes of Terry Meeks and Dave Templeman. And there is the pass for the lead, so McDonald goes through on Guthrie. So we've got a change at the front of the field. Now McDonald scored no points in race number 1, had all sorts of bother. It looks like at this stage he's on target to score 25, the maximum points here on offer for first place. Then it goes back to 22 and then 20. Well, Guthrie just getting a little bit untidy on the berm there, so maybe just trying to ride a little bit over his head to keep with the pace of Justin McDonald, because it is a scorching pace that the man from Canterbury is setting. Part of the Honda Red Riders squad, along with Michael Phillips. Now, we haven't mentioned Michael Phillips too much in this field, but he is out there, and so is the veteran. Well over 40 national titles to the name of Daryl King, riding 2 classes and riding, interestingly enough, the 250 two-stroke machine in the MX2 class, one of the few riders. This is Rutten. Now, we saw him crash earlier on, so he's got a fair bit of time to make up now on the RM250 Suzuki, another 2-stroke rider in the field. But of all the top riders, it's only Daryl King that's riding the 2-stroke machine, everyone else on the 4-stroke bikes. That argument was proven last year when the 250 2-strokes and 4-strokes combined for the first time in New Zealand, and it was the 4-strokes that came out on top. Hamish Dobbin there, number 996, another one of a growing list of New Zealanders that has had lots of overseas experience. Caught the eye of Harry Everts when Stefan Everts was here in 2006, and Hamish went over to Europe for 6 months, came back, rode KTMs over there, now back on the Yamahas. Here's Michael Menchie, around about 13th or 14th place at the moment, another one that didn't get a very good start. Menchie finished 3rd last year in the 125 2-stroke class in the New Zealand Championship, has moved up to the MX2 class now. Darryl Hurley up to 3rd, so Guthrie goes back to 4th. So maybe the strain of leading your first national class MX2 race just a little bit too much for Jared Guthrie. Nothing's too much for this man. Well, in the space of a year, his life has changed so much. He's got married, he's had a baby. Unfortunately, his father passed away earlier this year. And as I mentioned before, now he becomes a business owner, owning the latest Suzuki dealership in Hawera. All that and a professional motocrosser as well. Some action going on further down through the field as we try to pick up Michael Phillips. Got a terrible, terrible start. In fact, was probably out of the top 20 as the gates dropped, or as they came into the first turn. Now, though, he is looking to go a little bit further. So already the top boy starting to get through the back of the pack. Number 990 lines up the Demon Energy double jump. That is Adam Lawrence from Waipakarau. There is number 14. This is Mason Wilkie. Now, he was a past junior champion. He's ridden the last few years as a senior in the New Zealand Motocross Championship. Probably hasn't had the best results. 15 in behind him, Andrew Pollock on the Blackwood Yamaha YZ250. So this is a great little scrap here, as it is Reese Carter. They call him Cartwheel, just going up a position. This is a battle for position just outside the top 10 at the moment. This is the man currently in 2nd place. This is Daryl Hurley on the Suzuki New Zealand Shift motor oil machine, and this is the race leader. And he's got quite a healthy advantage. And as I said before, what a difference a race makes, because he had an absolute shocker in race number 1. This guy had a great race in race number 1. He got 2nd, so he's looking at 2nd again. Now, the big interest now is where is Michael Phillips, because Phillips won the first race, but we haven't seen him on our coverage yet, suffering from a terrible start. Here's Brad Groombridge from Taupo on the Kawasaki New Zealand Swan Insurance Kawasaki. This is the race leader going for a big air on the big Suzuki downhill drop-off as he comes down to complete another lap here. Justin McDonald out of Canterbury, the Canterbury Chippy. Honda Red Riders, Castrol, Alpine Stars rider, Hamish Dobbin, a young lad from Warkworth. And there is Michael Phillips. Well, it's the first time we've seen him, so he's been clawing his way back up. He's got the #1 plate, of course. He's the defending 250cc champion. He won that at the final round in Taranaki when Luke Burkhart was hurt. Well, it's a similar situation for Burkhart because he's hurt again. He's watching this, probably in two minds. But it is Phillips now. He won the first race going away, but he's really had to work for this. He's just coming up onto the rear of Hamish Dobbin. Looking for a top finish here is Phillips. He helped design and build the track along with his father here at Rotorua. Spent the last New Zealand off-season in Europe. There is Rhys Carter. Hurley comes towards the Demon Energy double jump once again, still sitting in second place. No sign of Justin McDonald. So maybe the gap is starting to grow between second and first. Michael Phillips has moved up into third place, so he's got around Hamish Dobbin. And now he is looking for Daryl Hurley. But can he find him? That is the question. There is Hurley, there is Phillips. So the gap is definitely closing, but is he going to run out of laps here, coming down past the finish position once again? #1, Michael Phillips. There's Hamish Dobbin, not too far away, so Phillips will have to look both front and back. Meantime, the race leader continues to extend that lead. This is the Honda Racing Team's Justin McDonald out of Canterbury. The Chippy finished second in the 125 chase behind Damien King last year. Has decided to move up. He rode two classes last year, rode the 450 as well in the opening rounds, but has decided to concentrate just on the MX2 class here, and it seems to be the right decision. This is Michael Menchie, and he's had another come from behind ride. The man from Upper Hutt, who was the New Zealand reserve at the Motocross of Nations, represented New Zealand in a big race in China this year. So motocross truly a global sport. Here is Michael Phillips. He sits in third place. Lap riders in behind him, although that's not a lap rider, that's Daryl King. So Phillips looking to move up. This guy looking to get around the last of the lap traffic so he can get to the checkered flag first. Justin McDonald in control. Dobbin has moved back now. He's back in fourth place now for the Warkworth teenager. Michael Phillips in third, Daryl Hurley in second. Justin McDonald continues to lead it behind him. Well, he's got a tiger on his tail because it's Daryl King. And King never knows when he's beaten. He goes the same pace from when the gates drop to when the checkered flag falls. Probably the fittest man on the circuit. Here is the man in second place on the Suzuki New Zealand RM250. Number 912 out of Hardware, a professional motocross rider. Probably his best result, the first round of the World Supercross Championships in the mud in Spain. This is Daryl Hurley, ridden as a professional in just about all four corners of the world. This man, well, he's as close as you can get to a professional rider based in New Zealand. This is Justin McDonald. He's looking for the checkered flag because he's won this, and that is some redemption from his shocker in race #1. Second place will be Daryl Hurley, and in third place it will be Michael Phillips. So Phillips will get some points here. Fourth place is Daryl King, and in fifth it's the teenager Hamish Dobbin. Round overall goes to Michael Phillips on 45 points. 1 point behind is Daryl Hurley, and in third place it's the veteran Daryl King.
That second one, you know, praise God I stayed on because there was a couple of close calls out there. I had a wee moment on the farmlands jump on the, I think it was the second lap. So I got back from that, the bike kept going, and yeah, just sort of made my way through the field and tried to, yeah, held off Daryl King, the old vet, he never dies, so it was his kind of track, pick a good line and
Not content with dominating just one class, Subway Yamaha rider Damien King is also back to defend his 125cc title. And if qualifying is anything to go by, he was having a good start. King qualified over 2 seconds faster than his closest rival, which was Matt Hunt on a Suzuki. A further 2.2 seconds back was Ethan Martin.
You just can't let off the gas, you just have to hold the taps everywhere. and just flow, and you can't stop in the corners, you just have to keep it on.
It's all about corner speed on the 125, and the Yamaha standard is a rocket, so we're lucky there.
When the gates fell on the first race proper, it was Rotorua local Cam Nagus and 15-year-old Cameron Dillon from Taupo who got the best of the starts. Hayden Mackay and Matt Hunt battled for places while King built up a sweat to get up to the front after his usual slow start. When the flag fell on the 10th lap, there were no surprises that Damien King was first. Honda's young gun Cameron Dillon had shown that he had the speed and the courage to keep close by, finishing second, only 2 seconds behind King, and in doing so took out the under-21 class in the race within a race. Hayden Mackay was third and Matt Hunt was fourth. Second and final race for the Rollinsons 125s, and we look for the whole shot. Who's it going to be? Cam Dillon up there as well, but the whole shot looks like it'll be Scott Barr-Smith from Tauranga on the KTM, so he goes into the front. Dillon through in second place, Matt Hunt there as well, and I think Hayden Mackay from Christchurch on the Honda in as well. Now, speaking of Hondas and Hayden's, apologies from our MX2 coverage to Hayden Clark on the Bay Honda CR250. We credited Jared Guthrie with the performance of Hayden Clark, so we apologise for that. We don't often make mistakes, but when we do, we like to get it right. This is no mistake, though. This is Scott Barr-Smith in the front. Matt Hunt moves through into second place. Dillon there. Right with him is number 121. That's Cam Nagus, one of the veterans in the 125 class. Oldest rider in the 125s would be 50-plus years of age, Tony Cooksley, riding under 222. But this man, well, he's in the junior development squad. Scott Barr-Smith from Tauranga on the KTM. The Max Gear sponsored 125. Big field of 125s this year, really has taken off in popularity. Motorcycling New Zealand and the Motocross Championship people introduced it last year. Well, this year we've got the 125 two-stroke class and the under-21s. So it's a chance for the young guns to have a go at some of the established stars, and it's the young guns coming to the fore at the moment. Cameron Dillon just over the top of the berm to get around Cam Nagus, so that's a pass for position. Meantime, out in front, still Scott Barr-Smith, number 935 on the KTM. There he is, off the Suzuki downhill drop away, heading down towards the finish area now to complete one lap. 2 races per class this year for the Demon Energy New Zealand Motocross Champs, so a few changes. Matt Hunt through in second place, then it's Mackay, then it would be Cam Nagus, then it is Dillon, just getting a little bit squirrely as he goes down past the flag position. Now the big news is, well, here's some big news, because this is one of the KTMs that's fallen. This is Ethan Martins from Waitakere that's come down. Now everyone told us that he would be one to watch for. 250cc and 125 junior champion, making the step up to senior ranks this year, but he's had a problem. So now it'll be a come from behind charge. And speaking of come from behind charges, we haven't seen race 1 winner, and that was Damien King on the Subway Yamaha. He's got another one of the terrible starts, so he's going to have to make his way through the field as well. This guy, well, he got the whole shot and he hasn't been headed since. This is Scott Barr-Smith from Tauranga, starting to close him down, originally from Gisborne. 5 times a junior champion. He'll have happy memories of this circuit here at Rotorua, because it was here that he clinched his 5th junior title in succession. That's Matt Hunt, nowadays out of Auckland on the Suzuki New Zealand RM125. Battles further down through the field there as we try and find Damien King. Well, there's been a change in the front running. Matt Hunt has got in front of Scott Barr-Smith, so the Suzuki now in the lead. This is number 713, and this is Chris Mexted from Wakatani, so he's moving up as well. He's round about 7th or 8th at the moment, so a new leader, Matt Hunt. Another one of these young riders that has had plenty of international experience, competed in the Under-19 Championship in Australia this past season. There is number 170, remember that is Hayden Mackay from Christchurch, riding 2 classes, riding the 450 as well as the 125, similar to what we see with Damien King. And once again, we're still yet to spot Damien King, so he's well back through the pack. Hunt in the front, elects not to use the inside berm that Scott Barr uses on the KTM, through in second place. This is number 10, this is Matthew Prum from Pukekohe. Yes, this is Catherine's brother. Matthew, a very good rider in his own right, sponsored by KTM New Zealand and Motor X, having a bit of problems here in the first couple of corners, just going past him. John Phillips leading the charge there. So Prum regains his composure and his KTM and continues on as we go back to the Demon Energy double jump, and this is Matt Hunt on the Suzuki New Zealand 125. Remember, this is the 125 two-stroke class. Chris Mexted comes through in about 8th or 9th now, so he's starting to move up as well. Just looking for the progress of Ethan Martins. Well, there he is there, starting to hound John Phillips by the look of it. Remember, he fell at the completion of the first lap, so his is a come from behind performance as well. Out of Henderson in West Auckland. Matthew Prum starting to come back too. 966 is Luke Richmond from Tawamutu on the Wilkesbrook Motors Suzuki. So 2 races within one here. We've got the 125s and we got the 125s under 21s. They're the next crop of young New Zealand motocross talent being led by this man at the moment. He's well under 21. That's Matt Hunt. Scott Barr-Smith through in 2nd place. He's conceded the first spot to Hunt after leading for the first couple of laps. This young teenager knows all about the hard yards. Sits in the front as he lines up the Demon Energy jump once again. His career certainly on an upward trajectory, and there's the first time we get to see the number 1, the defending 125 national champion. This is Damien King. Now, never count Damien King out. We'll never count any of the Kings out. There is 222 Tony Cooksley, the oldest man in the field at 50 plus years, 2-time world veteran motocross champion. A little bit out of his depth here in a 125. In fact, it's been a few years since Tony rode a 125. Matthew Prum goes by. Here's King. Now he's worked his way up into 5th place now. Just up ahead of him it is Hayden Mackay. This is number 713. This is Chris Mexted from Wakatani. Currently sitting in 7th. Cam Dillon getting around Cameron Nagus. Nagus, one of the veterans in the 125 class. We talked to him before the racing and said, why the 125s? And he said he just loves to ride them. He's done it all, enduros, hare scrambles and motocross. So there is Mexted. So the one to watch now has got to be the number 1, and that is Damien King. This is what's happening at the front of the field, though. Scott Barr-Smith hasn't given up the chase, starting to shut down Matthew Hunt here. Hunt on the Suzuki number 8, then it's 235, then it's 555. Cam Dillon, so he's got around Cam Nagus, and then right in behind Nagus, it's Subway Yamaha sponsored Damien King, the current 125 national champion. Raised a lot of eyebrows again this year when it was announced that he would ride the 125s and defend his title again. He's a big bloke as Damien King. Some of these guys probably not no more than 60 kg ringing wet. Here's one of them. This is Ethan Martins. A bit of a sensation in his junior career, the 125 and the 250 champion. Those titles decided in the South Waikato earlier this year. This man's been a 5 times junior champion, went right through the grades, never beaten, and now starting to forge his senior career. This is Matt Hunt. Scott Barr-Smith is a little bit closer. Cam Dillon right there too on the Honda Red Riders CR125. And look who's lurking in the background, Damien King. So it looks like we've disposed of Cam Nagus a little bit. 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th on your screen. Dillon looking for the inside run on Smith and gets it, so he moves up into 2nd place. This is number 303, and that is Scott Lowe. Has come down. Doesn't look like he's in any real hurry to continue, but he continues as the race leader comes through. Matt Hunt, once again, he's got a bit of breathing space. Here is Cameron Nagus. Now he's in full pursuit mode now because he's been shuffled back through the pack a little. Let's just see how close they are. And it is Damien King now that has got around young Cam Dillon. Well, Dillon gave him a little bit of a scare in race number 1. Damien King came through with a win, but Dillon wasn't too far behind him in 2nd place. 3rd place was Hayden Mackay, and 4th place with Matt Hunt. That's what happened in race number 1. This is race number 2. And Damien King on the Subway Yamaha, the defending 125 champion. I think he's got his sights firmly set on the man in front of him, and that is Matt Hunt. And there's no secret that Damien would be the fittest man on two wheels in this class. But as I mentioned before, he is a big man, but he is all muscle, and he's been training up a storm in the off-season to try and take 2 titles this year. And some of the lap riders just getting out of the way there of Chris Meckstead. There's Ethan Martins right in behind him. So it's been a great ride from Martins. Come back. And it's getting tight at the top of the field as well, slowly but surely. It is Damien King working on Matt Hunt here, tries to dive down the inside of them over the Demon Energy jump. Matt Hunt's going to hold on to it for a little while longer. Or King just gives him a nudge, lets him know he's there. This is the experience of Damien King, now into his third. He's been riding since he was, well, preschooler, really. The youngest of the King motocross siblings. Shane, now retired, working as a team manager for Honda Racing. Daryl King, of course, the older of the 3 brothers, still right in the mix in the sport as a manager, as a team owner, and as a racer. But it's Damien we focus on now. And there he is, number 1. King has assumed the lead. It's taken a while. He didn't get the very best of the starts, but he's just been working away on his Subway Yamaha, and now he's in first place. Hunt goes back into second place. Then it is Cam Dillon on the Honda Racing CR125. Right in behind him, Matt Hunt. And the next one should be Cam Nagus. There's Ethan Martins. So he'd be splitting Dillon. At the moment, I think Nagus would just be in no man's land just up ahead of him, but it's a good ride coming from the Waitakaris. Ethan Martins. There is number 121. That is Cam Nagus, and right in behind him, it is number 170, Hayden Mackay from Christchurch, the Mackay Motor Bodies sponsored CR125. He's riding 2 classes. So is the man at the front of the field. He's on the last lap now. He's going to make it a clean sweep in the Demon Energy New Zealand Motocross Champs in the 125 class. Damien King in the lead. Here's the man that led it for quite some time. This is Scott Barr-Smith, so it's a good ride from him. Cam Dillon, well, he hasn't given it up without a fight, and he's trying to shut down Damien King here. There he is, number 555, carries good speed into that right-hander. Chasing down a guy that he's probably looked up to for years and years and years. Cam Dillon, another one of these young men that is just out of the junior ranks, looking to make his mark in senior competition, his first senior motocross champs. This guy, well, he's been to the dance a few times, is Damien King. And look at Dillon. He's starting to close down the gap between number 1 and himself. There is Damien King, and here is a bit of a ragged edge, Cameron Dillon, but that just shows that he's trying. And how hard is he trying? Well, he led it for quite some time in the first race before Damien King pipped him, and the gap was 2 seconds. It's a lot closer than that, but they run to the checkered flag, and Damien King is going to make it 2 for 2 here at Rotorua, round 1 of the Demon Energy National Motocross Championships. Damien King salutes the big crowd at Rotorua. He wins it. Second place will be Cam Dillon, and in third place it is Matt Hunt. Well, if we have a look at the overall situation, it is Damien King with the perfect score from Cam Dillon, Matt Hunt, Hayden Mackay and Cam Nagus.
Yeah, really impressed. Good job from MNZ for bringing those 15 and over kids into that class. And like Cam Dillon, yeah, he's impressive. Like went over and shook his hand after race 1. He stuffed me in that corner. I was like, wow, that's a good move. And he's got the guts to do that. He could be a champion one day. It's really awesome.
To finish this week, we thought we would throw in a little bit of karting. It's the place where it all starts and started for so many of our talented motor racing Kiwi stars. This event is the 2008 Karting Challenge from Rosebank Road. First up, it's the Cadets.
The cadet class is the introductory class for kart sport in New Zealand. Drivers start at 6 and are able to race these purpose-built machines until they reach 12 years of age. Chassis are built to a special kart sport specification and all are powered by the same Racket 85 engine. The minimum all-up weight of kart and driver must be no more than 88 kilograms. Well, as you can see, this is a well-crafted recipe for close, exciting racing. And that's what we got here at the Total Span City of Sales 2-day challenge at the Pellet Company Raceway. No one had an answer to young Joel Herbert in the North Harbour Brakes and Steering sponsored cadet class, with Herbert winning 5 of the 8 races. For second overall, Caitlin Wanacott, the 2-day meet was a game of 2 halves, with her second day much better than her first, coming from 4th after day 1 to finish 2nd overall. Nelson's Liam Lotter never finished out of the top 6 right throughout the 8 heats to finish 3rd. Mount Wellington's Michael DePonte also mounting a comeback of sorts to finish 4th overall after being 6th after day 1. The talent levels continue to grow in the cadets, the future of kart sport, and if history continues to repeat, motorsport in general is in good hands, if the performances of the Total Span meeting are anything to go by.
Feel pretty good. Some races it wasn't going that well. Most of them were all good. Yeah, it makes me feel real happy.
So after 8 heats of the North Harbour Brakes and Steering cadet class, it was Joel Herbert coming out on top from Caitlin Wanacott, Liam Lotter, Michael DePonte, Chelsea Herbert, Hayden Hart and Jordan McDonnell. If ever there was a blowout in the points, it was in the Senior Rotax Light, brought to you by Right Kart. And there was only one man in it, and that man was Auckland's Kane Taylor. He got 2 wins on Saturday and a second on 3rd, and on Sunday he swept the board, 4 from 4, sometimes coming from as far back as 16th place.
Paul Cameron, he's always very fast in Rotax, and also Daniel Kenny's coming back in the Rotax after going to gearbox, so he's always very quick and smooth as well. It's been going pretty good this weekend. The first race came through the field, it was quite good, but the best race so far will probably be when I started off 12, came through the field to 2nd. Kart's been going well. Dad set up the kart very well, it's very smooth, done a few changes to the engine, and no, it's coming on well.
Number 2, Paul Cameron, chased hard, but he didn't have the outright speed, but he certainly had the consistency. But no one had an answer for the flying Taylor.
The Rotax is pretty hard. It's a bit pushy sometimes, and you can be a bit unlucky on a few tail end of a few accidents. But good class to race in. Love it.
These karts are for drivers 15 years of age and over, and the chassis is to Kart Sport New Zealand specs. Bombardier Rotax FR125 Max engines power all these karts, and it's another one of these formulas that makes for close racing, although making a nonsense of that was Kane Taylor.
Kind of hard to come from the back. Had a couple yesterday, started from 12 yesterday and 11 today. Quite hard to get through the guys and get through the field, but overall it was pretty good.
So it was Kane Taylor that took the win easily from Daniel Kent in 2nd place and Jake Pascoe in 3rd. So the Aucklanders sweeping the board here in the Senior Rotax Light, brought to you by Right Karts. Well, this is the 8th and final heat of the Vehicle and Construction Maintenance Junior Yamaha class, and there really has been only one name in it, and that is the name Kinsman. Now, we saw Matt Kinsman dominate the Senior Yamaha Light, and it's Daniel that's doing the job here in kart number 31. Oh, we got a spinner early on. Not going to bother the race leader too much, though. Rex Edwards moves up into 2nd place, and in behind him it is Ari Hutton by the look of it. There is number 18, and that is Lexi Masden-Prinn from Auckland in the Intrepid kart. And right in behind him it is Andy Schofield from Tokoroa, but out in the front it is Daniel Kinsman. Ari Hutton, the Mount Wellington karter, Super Freight sponsored driver there in 2nd place now, and you're really getting some heat on from Lexi Masden-Prinn in the Intrepid. But out in the front, it is still number 31 14 in second, Rex Edwards from the Bay of Plenty, so they've come from near and far for the Total Span City of Sales 2-day challenge. And we've had some fantastic racing, and it's been very good for this man, number 31, Daniel Kinsman. As I mentioned before, Matt took out the senior Yamaha light class. Well, we've got a change in the front of the field because it's number 14 in the front now, and that's Rex Edwards. Well, he's made the pass at the opportune time, and I think he's going to hold on to it. They run to the checkered flag now, and this is a bit of an upset. Bay of Plenty's Rex Edwards gets the win. In second place, it will be Daniel Kinsman, but he will have done enough to win the title overall for the Vehicle and Construction Maintenance Yamaha Junior class.
That's it for this week. See you next week for more Retro Motorsport.
You'd have to say as we're back on board with the circuit here at Pyra. Here's the race leaders. Oh, there are all sorts of problems.
Oh, big carnage. Oh, straight to the barriers and through the smoke we come. What a car!